Are you ready to move from an ordinary life to an extraordinary one where you meet your business goals, create a life that has success in health, wealth, and for self? Then come and join us for our retreat in Byron Bay, Australia at the end of July, start of August 2025, and come and rediscover who you really are. More details can be found at willowhealing.org.
Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I have today with me the beautiful Karina all the way from across the globe, which is very exciting. So she is a purpose coach and a quantum frequency healer. Karina has been on a path of healing, spirituality, and awakening for over 20 years, always feeling a calling to be of service to other light workers and wayshowers exactly in these times we are now living in. With her gift of intuitively seeing the highest potential of others, she is keen on showing others what it is that is keeping them back energetically and guiding them to fully step into their soul mission. And all about empowerment. Fully resonate with this, Karina, because I do the same thing. Woohoo! And a big welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's really nice to be here all across the globe, indeed.
So I feel I'm really excited to have you on, as we were just talking before we started recording, as I haven't had anyone that's been working in the quantum realm before. So if you would love to explain to our listeners what the quantum realm is and how you work in it, I feel that would be really amazing.
Yes, that's my pleasure. And as we were discussing, you just told me like it's something you do that you just trust and that you do not go into. Whereas I do trust as well, and I know. But I've always had this fascination to know more and more and more about it. It's probably also my human design, which is a generator 2-4, and the 2 goes really deep into the matter that truly is part of their blueprint, and that truly it's part of the gift we have to share. So we really roll into our genius. So when I was a child already, I was really fascinated with everything like stars, moon, sun, universe, eternity, like how the Bible said that God was always there and will always be there. And I was like, how is that even possible? So all these concepts about time and reality and the fabric of what do we actually live in was already planted in me as a seed when I was really young. So I started reading books about reincarnation and the universe when I was in my teenage years. And then when I was in my 20s, I started discovering books that went into reality and the fabric of it. And one book that's called The Holographic Universe by, whoa, what's his name? Otherwise, we'll have to add that later.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Had
So
a
good.
very clear concept of that we're actually living in a holographic world. It's not real. And that really spiked my interest to dive more and more and more into the quantum realm. So I did a lot of energy training, coaching as well. That's where you get to feel how it is. That's where you get to feel how you are part of it all and how we are all one and how you can expand your field and how you can contract your field. So the combination of both the intuitive, energetic side and the books taught me the following, is that you can see the quantum realm as something that is, we are part of it and it is part of us. We are the universe is in us and we are in it. And it's like one giant quantum soup of possibility.
Yeah.
Infinite, limitless possibility. And that is where it spikes my interest because as you introduced me, I'm all about possibility and about showing people their highest potential. And I think I have the gift of tapping into each and everyone's highest potential because I can like see the path. I can see the path to people's highest path, but it's just a path.
Correct.
It's like we're constantly walking a road that has like unlimited directions that we can choose. It's an active choice to go from A to B. And if you look at your life, like every decision you make leads up to something. Like whether you choose spaghetti or rice for dinner, whether you go to restaurant A or B, whether you travel to destination A or B, whether you end up with partner A or B, whether you choose to have children or not, or one or three, it's all choices. And it's all these choices are laid out for us. Everything truly is possible. I also believe that there's like unlimited amount of universes. It's not just this universe. There's unlimited parallel universes and parallel unlimited timelines.
Yeah.
So there's not a thing like past lives. No, all these past lives, they're happening simultaneously.
Yep.
But we cannot grasp this concept in this like dense 3D bodies and minds we are in. So we need to have this concept of time. Well, it's part also a matrix they put us in. But on the other side, it's also something for us to make it possible to grasp things.
Yeah.
So that's I think in short how I would describe it. So you have this choice to always choose timelines,
divine will,
jump timelines, and choose your actual reality and your actual future direction.
This gave me goosebumps, Karina, because I'm actually writing a book at the moment, which I'm channeling through, called Spiritual Ethics. And this is a big chunk of exactly what's in it. It's all about that we are all one and connected and equal. We are one with God. We are one with each other. We are one with the universe. You know, we are all interconnected because of our energy. And then divine will is such a big thing, and freedom of choice, because, you know, and that's something that comes up so much with my clients that I work with. Whenever I pass on information, I'm like, based on your current timeline right here, right now, this is the information that you're getting. And I said, but this can change in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, depending on what your choices are, you know, because like you said, our timelines have infinite potential and have so many choices depending on where you go, you know, and it's very much all entwined, and that entanglement with each other, and very much pushing us to, if we choose to, it's always come back to us. We can choose to be the change we want, or we can choose to stay in the life that we are in.
And I forget one very important aspect of this that was very important to me when I was younger, and still more in my like left brain side, more like the thinking, the wanting to understand, that it is all scientifically proven. It's all scientific based.
Yes.
For example, I saw in a film Dr. Bruce Lipton speak about tests they have done in labs. I read like books and books and books on all kinds of research about consciousness, and that proves the reality of the quantum field. So what they did in that research is they took a few cells of a person, put it in a petri dish, brought that to another lab, like a different building.
Yep.
And then they had the person watch a movie, like a scary movie, a horror movie, and they watched what happened to the cells that were not part anymore of that person. And the cells responded the same as their own cells while watching, because we all know that consciousness is in your cells. And when we watch something scary, and we know with our minds it's a movie, but our cells do perceive this as reality. So the cells that are not even part of your body anymore respond the same. They brought cells of a person into a space station and did tests on the Earth with an actual person, and the cells in space reacted the same at the same moment. So that is like, I don't even know how they call it, but it's at least it's quantum entanglement. But the fact that it's happening in real time at the same moment, there's no time lapse or whatsoever. It's actually happening exact same moment.
Yeah, and even our family, we go for Rife treatment. So if anyone's wondering what Rife is, it's like a frequency machine and it puts it in. But we can actually give our toenail clippings to the Rife practitioner, and she hooks up our toenail clippings and can do all the frequencies through our body, and we actually feel them. So she was putting me through a detox protocol and I could feel my kidneys detoxing so quickly. I messaged her and I'm like, I can put up with this pain, but there's something going on. She's like, oh my goodness, you detox this from like 90% to 3% in like a day. She's like, this is ridiculous. She goes, I'll ease it off. I'll ease it off. So, and that was through my toenails. So, there's so much stuff showing the wonders of the human body in itself and that cellular connection and how that quantum realm keeps everything bridged. And I guess what I thought of when you were saying that is like, we need to be really conscious then who we leave things with, like who gets our blood and who gets our, plasma, and who gets our toenail clippings and our hair and those sort of things. If you think of, energetically, that you're still connected.
And who we have sexual intercourse with.
Yes.
Same.
Yes.
Like a complete coming together of energies. So we have to be really mindful about these things. Yes. And the right frequencies, that is amazing, because I work with frequencies myself.
Yeah.
When I had all this academic knowledge about research and the laws and everything, I truly wanted to bring this across to my clients, but I had no means of showing people what the quantum is about. So I was at the end of end of 2019, I was literally asking the universe, show me something for healing and show me something so I can help people understand the quantum realm. And that's when this little device, I'm running it momentarily, came across my path. And it's called a Healy. It's a little quantum frequency device. And I had gone to bioresonance therapy for myself and my children for over a few years. It helped me heal my eczema. It helped my children with everything varying from bacteria to like E. coli my daughter had, to my son's mood swings. And when I came across this, it's like, now I can have something for myself to
all
use.
The time. Yeah.
All the time. And I've been working with it for myself, for my family, for my pets, for my clients for over 5 years now. And it never ceases to amaze me what it does. Because you can read into like things like detox needs or organ support or whatever you need. Yeah. But I use it mostly for consciousness. And I do like aura scans, coaching scans for people all over the world. Doesn't matter if they're sitting at my kitchen table in my practice or whether they're in Australia or Africa. It is always, I would say, in 98, 99% of the cases, spot on, like what is coming out in terms of emotional processes, spiritual processes, consciousness aspects, to the detail. Like my reports can tell people literally like, okay, you have difficulty choosing in your life because as a child, you always had to choose between your father and your mother's love. And this is a generational pattern that comes from your great-grandparents. That much detail.
Yeah, it's magic, hey? Like even because I tap in and I use a lot of neuroemotional technique and emotional code and those sort of things, and then use my own testing to test where people, and then I get shown as well, which is really cool. But it's like I'll go to someone, okay, this happened to you when you were 5 years old around this emotion with this person, and this is what I'm seeing. And they're like, oh, how do you know that? And it's like, because everything's stored in our body. And, that's a really important thing I feel when we're like working with people, is to make emotions okay again, to help emotions good. There's no bad emotions, it can be anger, it can be frustration, it can be hate, it can be love, it can be joy, whatever it might be. But until we're actually allowing ourselves to feel that and come up, we're not going to shift out of those patterns.
No. And it's often, especially with people who've done the work, it's patterns that we think we've already gone through. Well, we all know that healing is a spiral. So it comes up, and then later on, it comes up in deeper layers of our consciousness, and then later on, even deeper layers. And some of the themes we run with for the rest of our lives until it finally, like, completely out of our systems. And we all know that the 3D body comes after consciousness, and comes after the thinking, and comes after the learning to behave differently, and learning how to choose differently. So I often see people go like, no, that pattern with my father and my mother, I've been through that for so long, I don't have it anymore. But then the energy, which never lies, shows otherwise. And I think it's great, like, you have this discernment, and this inner knowing, and this evolvement, that you can see it for yourself.
Yeah.
But then even it might be difficult to see it for yourself. I have patterns that I can see clearly for others, but not for myself.
100%.
And there's like, I would say there's maybe 2-3% of people alive right now that can energetically see like we can see. There's so many people that still need more support and more guidance, because everybody at one point will evolve to that point that we can all see, know, feel,
Sense.
intuitively. But that's not the case yet.
Yeah. And I feel too, like, exactly what you said. It's so easy to see it with someone that you're working with, but it can be often really hard to see it for yourself. And even I went through this process just a few days ago with the full moon, and it was a Cancer full moon. So always brings up fun emotions.
A big energy moon.
Big energy moon. And I just finished writing a book, and I was getting ready to submit it to a publisher. And I was like, I went into this spiral of kind of doubt and questioning everything, but I have no attachment to this. It's just something I channeled through and put it on paper. And my husband said one thing to me, and it wasn't even that terrible. And it just kind of popped my bubble. And I went into this like crying and like this self-sabotage pattern and all these things, and I was like, I thought I was done with this, like you said. It was like, I thought I was done with this. And fortunately, I intuitively had booked in a session with my coach, because I get coached as well, someone to help me work through my stuff. And he's like, okay, so we've got to heal all that stuff again, because, you're working up to that next level. Like you said, it's a spiral. And as you move up to that next level, all those things that previously held you back at the other level just come back up again. And it's having someone else to support you, and having that dream team around you to keep you, clear and energy and health and your body and whatever it might be. Until we're all able to put our hands on trees and get food from them, we need to have that support around us.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel that this device particularly, because it's the only one that has a quantum sensor and that can do the distance healing the way that it does, showing these patterns. But also, the programs that it has for like more bodily issues that a lot of people in this world walk around with, like chronic pain, chronic back pain, fibromyalgia, migraine. And I'm mentioning these things, by the way, because we're in Europe, we're allowed to mention that. That might be very different in Australia, but in Europe, it's obviously a approved device for helping support these issues. And then also depression and anxiety and sleeping disorders, which is like a load of people are having these issues worldwide. Yeah. And it's usually also the people that have been walking around with these issues and nobody can help them. Like, no doctor knows the explanation for fibromyalgia. They just tell people literally, like, go home, sit with your pain, learn how to live with it. Mm-hmm. But if we've been walking around with trauma for all of our life, like emotional trauma, pain, maybe even generational trauma, and it lands in our bodies, and it's been there for so and so long, for decades, it's not something that will be healed instantly.
Yeah.
And we literally got to like vibrate it out of our systems.
Yeah.
And that's what frequency healing does.
And it's like, I always liken it to like it's like an onion, because you like vibrate the outside and then you vibrate the next one down and then you vibrate the next one down. It's just layer upon layer upon layer. And then you'll finally get to the center of it. And then you're like, okay, all right, let's move on to the next thing. And then you get the next onion. It's never going to.
Yeah. And the next onion is that showing you again all these patterns, but then you're aware.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
you also said before, like, then we know, like, there you are again. You're showing up again. And it's like testing you until you reach that level of mastery.
Exactly.
And then you can finally move on. And it's like, finally. And it's like, it's oftentimes very like disheartening to keep on having shown these patterns in your life over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's very liberating to finally be able to grasp it and see it for what it is.
Yeah. And for me, I like when I was going through my spiritual awakening and the dark night of the soul, which anyone listening, it's not one night, people, it's many, 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 many nights. And this thing kept happening to me. And the first time it happened, I was like in a ball on the floor. And the next time it happened to me, I was like, oh, okay, like this is still really devastating, but I'm not crippled on the floor this time. And then the third time it came up, I went, oh, okay, these people come and go in my life, so be it. And I knew it was done then. And I knew that I'd like worked through that energy and really realized it wasn't about me. It was about, shifting to that awareness and that sort of thing. But I had to go through that process of feeling it, healing it, and then feeling it again and seeing what was left and clearing out the cobwebs, and then feeling it again and go, okay, all right, this is done. Now what's next? So
yeah, it's so liberating to be finally out of it and to really see it.
100%.
I believe that we all come here with certain themes that are for us to work through. Back to the quantum realm. I think what it is truly is source trying to understand itself. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Whether we're a plant, a rock. I know people that had past lives as a rock. They can like feel into that. Or whether we had different lives or have at the same time, as I said. It's all about going through all the emotions. Consciousness wants to understand itself and wants to have the full range of everything that is out there to experience. And the moment that we step into this, in my coaching practice, I always call this like shift into asking yourself, like, what is it trying to teach me? Mm-hmm. Instead of why is it happening to me? Because it completely shifts your power.
100%. And being, I guess that's where you were asking, like finding out the why and being curious rather than, being in that victim mindset makes all the difference to the situation and what's happening to you.
Yes. And if we can get that in the collective consciousness of the people, the world will shift.
Oh, 100%.
What we need.
And if we stop reacting to people and actually take that moment and own our shit, really, and own it and have that moment and where we breathe and go, oh, okay, what's this teaching me? What am I learning here? How am I going to respond now? Rather than just, an ego fighting ego. How much more peaceful would this world be?
Exactly. And that's also, you said, like, we have to feel our feelings and feel it again and go through it. Yes, I completely agree. And this is also something I teach for people to really start feeling in their bodies. Like, what am I feeling in my body? Not with my mind, because we often confuse feelings with thinking. Yeah. At one point, we've got to stop, like, feeling these feelings and like put them aside to move forward.
Yeah. And I feel too like it's part of, you know, as you were saying, people to start feeling it and realizing this is what's happening for me. And when you own those flaws and those triggers, they're always going to be there. They will shift, but it's like when something comes up and you want to push yourself to the next level or push yourself into your next vision or goal, whatever it might be, it's you're like, oh, okay, there they are again. Let's say hello to our old friends that we know really well now, and we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like the most important aspect here is compassion for ourselves, because I don't know about you, but I have beaten myself up for being in certain ways, for feeling certain feelings, for thinking certain things.
Yeah.
And the moment you start accepting yourself fully, loving yourself fully, and like truly being that friend for your own emotions, like, oh friend, there you are again. And I'm going to listen to you for a moment, you emotion or fear or whatever. But now I'm going to put you aside and do what I have to do anyway. Because I think a lot of people tend to hang in there and keep on hanging in there because, oh, their lives is so miserable and all these things have happened to them. But life is not, and our purpose is not like what happened to us. It's not like, of course, we have people with more chances than others in lives. I mean, some people have better chances, have better possibilities. But life is about creating possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has that capacity if we allow ourselves.
And it's infinite. And even, I know personally, every time I tap into my vision of what I want to achieve, you know, like in the next 10 years, the big goal, it keeps expanding and getting bigger and bigger as I keep clearing more and more things and stepping higher into my path. And it scares me. I'm not going to lie. It scares me how big it is. But at the same time, it also excites me because I can make this massive change in the world and bring about this new way of being, which, you know, that's why I'm here. You know, that's what gets me up in the morning and drives me to get through the day. And yeah, the fear still crops up and all the other emotional friends that come along with that. But it's about having that bigger purpose that really drives you through your day, so those emotions don't matter as much anymore.
Yeah, I have the same completely. It's like doing this vision work, and mind you, there's loads of people that have blockages, even they cannot even tap into their bigger version because they still have so many limiting beliefs around what they can truly achieve. And that's back to the quantum field again. If you look at it, what it is, you have this quantum soup of possibilities, and all you have to do is choose. Take a first step.
Yeah.
And then the universe will show you the next. But if you go in a certain direction and you show the universe, this is where I'm headed, the universe will give you more of what you're already choosing. But oftentimes we choose from our subconscious, we choose from our unconscious parts, and we choose what we already know instead of choosing what is also a possibility. So doing this vision work, it's, at least in my coaching and also for myself, one of the biggest parts. Just tap into all these unlimited possibilities and to truly see yourself out there, your future self. That can be your present self, as there is no time, because we can instantly choose to be on that path. Yeah. And living your life as if you're already that person completely shifts what you're attracting to yourself. That's why I don't believe in like the traditional manifestation methods, because vision work and taking action, that combination is what truly does it.
My coach taught me the exact same thing, Karina. So I'm like, yes, let's love this. And I teach that to my coaching clients too, because I was like, you know, it's 80% energy and 20% strategy. You know, you've got to do the action and then you've got the mindset, but it's 80% action and 20% mindset. We can't just sit there and write, I am this and this is my vision, and put your vision board up. And then what I found too, because I tried the vision board thing, and what I found, it was actually limiting me, because it's like, oh, this is the only things I want. But it's like, no, my vision's expanded. I don't want to be just that anymore. I want to make it bigger.
Yeah. And visions change. That's normal, because you cannot hold all that expansion in the beginning. So it's growing and growing and growing. And as human beings, we still have no idea about our true capabilities. And there will be a lot of disclosure around that in the coming years, the coming few years. It's like becoming a more tiny window.
It's coming.
Well, the coming years will completely shift everything, but that shift will happen from now to 2027 and will be opened up to possibilities for healing, for being, for health, for a cleaner planet, for living holistically whole lives, for living abundant lives that will all open up to us.
Yeah.
And most people have no idea about the expansion that is waiting for us.
Yeah.
You don't need do vision work for that because it will come.
Yeah. And even that, there's that energy because we're shifting into that Aquarian age, and there's going to be this like push back on the self and the entrepreneurship, and a lot of people will step out of that 9 to 5 because unfortunately AI is coming to replace some jobs. It's going to be here, and you're gonna have a chance to go, what do I really want to share with the world, and what do I want to make my life look like? And it's as sad it will be, you might lose your job. Look at it as a positive thing of, hey, I need to make a choice now of how I want my life to be rather than what I just fell into or what I got used to.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. It will give all of us the opportunity to follow a purpose. And whether that is taking care of your children or gardening or painting, or whether that is like, I guess you feel the same as I do, being healers and coaches, that we are here to lead humanity forward. And that's not like an egocentric thing or a thing of like, I'm better than most people. No, but we are born with a very clear purpose around helping people forwards.
Yeah.
With me, it's in my human design. It's in my personal astrology. It's like all over the place, telling me that I am here to lead people forward. And I know for me that making the quantum realm tangible, showing people the power of frequencies to heal themselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and get past all these limitations and step into our true being, that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Helping with the expansion of others while expanding myself. And I love it so much. And that's why I get out of bed every morning, and then having that vision of how things will even grow more and expand more and more and more gives me so much energy, like you.
Yeah, exactly. And I get up at the moment because here it's summertime, so like the sun's up at like roughly 5 a.m. and I get up with the sun, and people are like, what, you've been up since 5 a.m.? I'm like, yes, I have been. I've got stuff to do. I've got things to get out of bed for, and I want to spend that first hour on me, which is how I set up my day. I spend that first hour on me. I meditate, I do movement practice, I do gratitude, whatever it is I need. I do a few things on like connecting with social media, and then I go do about the rest of my day and do what I need to do, but it's like by setting that self up and honoring yourself first, it fuels your energy for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I've done that for years also, having morning practice.
Yeah.
But I'm more like an evening or a night person.
I love
and
it.
it's winter here,
Yeah.
so getting out of bed early is not my thing so much. And I love just sitting there at night, contemplating the earth,
And looking at the
contemplating,
stars.
learning things, diving into my gifts. And I'm that person that will write you an email at 1:30 a.m. because I love it so much that I just sometimes I'm so excited about everything that I just can't go to sleep.
Oh,
It's such an exciting time to be alive.
it's like when you get that intuitive hit and that revelation, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to write this down right now. I don't care if I have to get out of bed and go find some paper or whatever it might be. I just need to share this now, or I'm going to forget, or I'm going to lose that beautiful wisdom and it's not come back to me. It's exciting. You're like, aha, I understand now.
Yeah, and you become your own teacher along the way. Like we don't need, like you said, you have a coach, and I get coached as well. Learning, like, it's more like crafting, like the fine lining the things you've already learned. And I still love to read books. A lot of people tell me, like, oh, we don't need books, all the wisdom is within us. It's true, but everybody is different. And I have this two line in my human design, which is the hermit who loves to, craves all this information. I just love to learn more and dive even deeper into our divinity and reality and all these things. And I also have a role here in sharing that information. So that's who I am. And others like you, you get it more from within. And for you, that might be enough. For me, it's really what I love doing. And we should all just do what we love.
Yeah.
And it's different for everybody how we get our guidance, how we get our insights. But yeah, I think for all of us, it can be magical once we allow that stream of divine consciousness to run through us, however we get it.
I too read a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And audiobooks. Like I just do what I get pulled to, and trust that intuitive hit there. And it's amazing how many times you'll be listening to something and go, aha, that's why I'm listening to this. Great. That's why I'm reading this, and what you said about books and like a lot of people are like, we don't need books, but we do, because a message I got from the universe was that only certain souls will get certain chunks of information at the time. And if they choose not to do anything with it, then the next soul will get it because that needs to get out in the world. And that's often why in science, all these people will publish very similar experiments at different parts of the world, but almost all at the same time, because they all got that information and got that intuitive insight because it needed to get out in the world. So, it's still important for us to read and engage in different materials, because if we're not willing to change and take on, more knowledge and wisdom and use that to shape, how we are and how we practice, then how are we bettering ourselves as well as humans?
Yeah, and you're completely right that this is a completely intuitive thing. Like, I always know what I have to do, quote unquote. I feel like, oh, I really desire to read that book, or I desire to listen to that podcast, but only that part. And then I drop into it. And I always get pieces of information. I completely trust that. I'm like not searching for information anymore. I just like when I started working with that frequency device, I didn't know it was going to be that. That's also a thing about possibility. Once we completely describe how it should look like to the universe, we're completely shut out from other possibilities that are even greater than we can imagine. Exactly. So I always tell my clients, leave the how to the universe, but focus on the what and the why. And when we do that, it will show up. And I just put out that message, like, I want to have something to show people consciousness, to show people the quantum realm, to make it tangible. And then within 2 weeks, somebody connected to me on Instagram and said, hey, would you like frequency healing? I have this device that goes into the quantum realm. Would you like to try it? I was like, hell yes, because I asked for this. And that's how it comes to me. And when you start living like that, you completely lose all kinds of FOMO. I never have FOMO about anything because I know I'm always there where I want to be. If I'm hosting a webinar, say, or a training, and only 2 people show up, I would think like, okay, probably these 2 people are here because they needed more time from me one-on-one. Everybody is always there where they're supposed to be, as long as we do take our inspired action. As long as it's aligned.
And I feel to share this story. So I was planning out my year, and getting it astrological aligned. And I was like, I really want to run a retreat. I didn't know why. I just wanted to do it. And then my coach goes, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if we could find like an organic farm so that we can like really nourish ourselves with the food or whatever it might be. So then I was like, yeah, I really want to run it in this location. So I Googled, retreats in this location. And the first hit that comes up is this organic farm runs retreats. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I was like, oh, what are the dates available? And then, so I'm messaging my coach because he does astrology. And I was like, hey, do these dates align? Or he's like, oh no, these are perfect. It's like going to be this conjunction with Venus, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, awesome, great. I'll organize that. And then the caterers were free who do like Ayurvedic principles and nourishing medicine. And then, this person was free and this person. And I was like, and then the next day after I started looking into this, I get an email in my inbox from someone I don't even know, and it said how to empower your clients, run a retreat, this is how you run a retreat, and it had all this information in it. And I was like, all I did was say, yeah, I want to do this, and all these things came together. So I fully understand what you mean. Like, you ask the universe for this device to show consciousness and it pops up 2 weeks later.
Yeah, the universe doesn't understand a yes but or a no but. It understands yes and it understands no. And energy follows action.
Yes.
So yes, when we take action we say yes. It's the same like when we take action in the wrong directions, the universe keeps on giving us that. But once we align with what we truly desire and we take these steps, it's not sitting there meditating on it and having these beautiful visions. Nothing is going to happen if you don't take these steps.
Yeah.
So if you take the step, it's a yes, and then the universe gives you more yeses. Yeah. And that's when we know that whatever we do is aligned. If you're trying to have an appointment with somebody, but somehow, like, if we were to have this podcast, and then suddenly I fell ill and I had to cancel you, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll reschedule. And then next time you had something coming up with your child and you said, oh, sorry, I really can't do it. And then next time we had technical issues, I would know, like, okay, this is probably not meant for us, at least not for now. Let's postpone it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, it wasn't like that because it worked out.
And it was perfect. And we knew that we just flow. See, this is what we're doing.
It's science. Yeah, it is aligned. And so we can all doubt, not all doubt. I mean, we all doubt. We're all human beings. After all, we all have our doubts or moments of doubts. But in general, when you follow your alignment and when you follow the flow of the universe, there's not much doubting around. If you dare to truly see your biggest visions for what they are as well.
Exactly. And as we finish up, this has been amazing, Karina. I just want to say I could happily talk to you all night, but I feel like I need to go to sleep at some point today. And if what I always most of the time when I remember, but 90% of the time, I ask my guests, what if you could change one thing in the world and make a mark in the world, just for a healing or a change or anything, what would it be?
For the consciousness of humanity to rise.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're all at higher levels of consciousness because it will solve all the problems in the world.
100%. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Karina. This has been amazing. I've learned stuff. I feel like you validated so much of what I'm doing at the moment too, and I love that when that happens and those idiosyncrasies, line up so beautifully. And if anyone wants to get in contact with Karina or organize a session with her, we will put all those details in the show notes, and we'll also put the notes to that the book, the Holographic Universe. Holographic Universe. Thank you. So we'll get those in the show notes as well. And thank you again, Karina. It has been amazing.
Thank you, Catherine, so much. It was a pleasure. And I feel we have like many similarities in our work and the way we see the world. And I feel like I've already get to know you in this short time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health
issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.